is Justin Chug, and today we're going to revisit the topic of referral partners. Some of you may have participated in some of our referral partner trainings in the past. What we're going to talk about today is recruiting recruiters. When I speak of recruiters, I'm specifically talking about folks that are looking to hire, help companies hire new employees. There's really a great opportunity here that I think a lot of us are missing out on. And a lot of that has to do with the shifts that are taking place within the marketplace. So recruiters find themselves in a unique position where if we look at a lot of the different services across the industry and even outside of the industry, everything is finding itself being converted into as a service. And so whether it's IT support, IT security, DVDs, any type of delivery service, we're finding everything is being converted into this model, and the technology space has really been leading that. And so one of the challenges that recruiters are facing is this major shift that a lot of them may not all be aware of. And so what they're trying to do is they go out and they find employees and they help companies hire new talent. And so, but one of the challenges is the fact that as things transition into a managed services model, companies are going to be looking for less and less talent and more services. And so they're going to need to transition, as many other companies have, into this type of model in order to continue to provide a profitable business model. And that's one of the things that we wanted to help them do today is as they're looking for new talent and resources for different companies, one of the options that they need to have in their portfolio is the ability to offer an alternative to a traditional employee. In other words, a service. And so this is one of the reasons why we wanted to focus on recruiters is because they're at the crosshairs of this major shift. Companies are coming to them to solve their IT problems. And that's not necessarily something that they may have a great resource for. And so the purpose of this is to help them become a referral partner for you, because when companies are looking for IT talent, they may also be looking at the same time at a managed IT company, or may need to be coached in that direction in terms of understanding the ramifications and also the values of doing such. Another factor that's driving this trend is the lack of IT talent. On any given day, you'll find that there's at least just in the IT security space 1 million job openings. There isn't enough talent in the marketplace today to fulfill most of those needs, which is another reason why companies are turning to managed IT services. But there's a lot of other reasons why companies are using managed IT. We've done a few different phone calls on this, and so if you haven't had a chance to see those or if you haven't seen them recently, I'd highly recommend looking at a few of those videos to help refresh your memory, because this is going to be important for you as you have your discussions with these recruiters and converting them to referral partners to help outline the advantages and the disadvantages of using a managed IT solution. But if you're looking at the screen, you'll see that there's 8 main benefits of using a managed IT company, one of which is the 24/7 support, something that you don't get when the employee goes home. There's also much broader expertise. IT people are notorious for not admitting that they don't know something, and so they'll spend days trying to figure something out when somebody on a managed IT company could actually solve it much more quickly because there may be someone that specializes in it. It also minimizes service gaps, so if there's a lot more turnover in the space lately, they tend to last shorter periods of time, and they also go on vacation. So those types of service gaps will definitely be eliminated with the managed IT solution in addition to that 24/7 monitoring. There's a lot of cost savings because they know what they're doing. They have that broader expertise. There's greater efficiency, again, because they know how to solve problems. They know who to go with. And a lot of that goes back to that expertise and that opportunity to have the right people solving the right problems. Because a lot of times the IT managers within these organizations will be solving problems that a junior tech should be addressing. And so you're paying someone $150 an hour to install a shortcut desktop app on somebody's computer. There's also a lot less risk because the risk factor is related to the fact that a lot of these companies, if this person leaves, they also take with them a lot of their passwords and information, where within a managed IT company that is much more efficiently managed. It's also a great solution for holidays, and they're also able to get more wholesale equipment rates, mainly because they're solving problems for a lot of different companies at the same time. And so your buying rate is combined with multiple companies under the same roof. So those main 8 reasons why companies are using managed IT services, in addition to what we just talked about a second ago, the fact that there's a lack of IT talent in the marketplace today. And so helping recruiters understand the value of managed IT services gives them a great alternative option for their clients and something they may already be looking for in a different type of revenue source. But this is the big thing that's going to be part of the discussion, because obviously recruiters their mentality is a lot like the hosted or the traditional premise-based PBX guys were back in the day. It was before residuals were a big deal, and they're accustomed to getting a large bonus up front and then moving on. So residuals will be a new flavor for them and something that they have to get accustomed to. And so when you're talking about money, the question is going to be, well, what is the value of a 1x bonus, which is typically what they're saying, so they'll take the first month's salary, versus a residual? If we look at the residuals, on average, managed IT companies are going to pay 16% of the customer's bill for the life of the account. If this is a referral partner, we're going to be treating them with probably a 50-50 bonus in order to make it profitable for them. So if we convert that $10,000 a month salary into a residual, we're typically going to see somewhere around $10,000 versus an $800 MRR. Now, the big thing is whether or not this is enough. And the challenge with this is the two numbers feel very different, and the fact that it's an MRR is, again, a different mindset for a recruiting company. And so if you're going to be working with them in this sense, it's going to have to, the conversation needs to be shifted a little bit, because if we focus too much on these numbers, they're not going to take the bait. But the main thing we want to talk about is the fact that although it does equal more money over time, the money is going to come slower. But in order to convince recruiters to work with you as your referral partner and to bring you managed IT solutions for their customers, the main focus you want to talk about is the shifts that are taking place. And of course, everyone uses the Blockbuster model, where Blockbuster was more focused on incremental improvements, whereas Netflix was drastic changes to the marketplace. And this is what we're seeing in terms of technology. These shifts are taking place today. Companies are moving to managed IT services rather than traditional because it's inefficient. And if employment companies don't make the shift, they'll find themselves in the same boat as Blockbuster did, trying to make incremental improvements to whatever they're doing today rather than jumping on the bandwagon. And this is where you want to focus your time in terms of giving them that option. And so the best way to approach this is to look at it as an alternative solution. So if their customers ask for managed IT services, then this is something that they can have in their portfolio and still make money off of it. And that's a good way to ease into this discussion with them, but help them understand that there are shifts taking place and that they need to stay ahead of that. And that's where that strategy comes in, is they need to be able to be prepared for that and understand that MRR is different from bonuses, but after they get a chance to test drive the MRR and get a feel for that, that consistent revenue will feel a lot better for them, and they'll get used to that. That's probably not something that I would lead with. Now, in terms of actually recruiting recruiters, the main goal is to just sit back, because recruiters are some of the most proactive people on the planet. You probably get an email from them at least once a day asking about whether you need hiring or whether you know someone for a specific job. But it won't be hard to find the recruiters, because they're going to find you. And so typically I would recommend waiting for them to connect with you on LinkedIn, waiting for them to send you an email, staying in touch with them. But once they email you, this is where you can kind of start that conversation, start discussing the opportunities and exploring those solutions for them, and kind of having that dialogue like we talked about earlier about the market shifts. Once they understand the market shifts, you can talk money, explain the MRR, and as soon as they start test driving the MRR, you'll find that it's much more digestible for them. But in terms of actually executing this, as we discussed in the last 2 calls, it's always recommended that we present everything as an experiment. Don't say, let's shift you into this whole managed services and give up your traditional business. Let's say, let's run this as an experiment and see what happens. You'll find that, again, this is the easiest way for individuals to adopt change, because they're not actually adopting change. They're saying, let's try something that's risk-free because it's labeled as an experiment, and you'll find it's much easier for them to say, yeah, I'd love to try something. Let's see what happens. Let's see if there's a client that actually needs this. Maybe we can bring it up on a call. Maybe I can bring you onto the call to discuss how this would work. And so, again, experiments are the best way for individuals to adopt change because it doesn't have the label of purchasing something or making a shift. It's something that they can take credit for, which is one of the main driving factors in changing behavior, is giving them credit for that. And so these are some of the things that I would recommend implementing. And again, recruiters are at the crosshairs of all of these changes because companies come to them for their IT needs. They're saying, I need someone to manage our servers. We need someone to manage our desktops. And so being in that position gives them a lot of leverage, but they're going to need someone to help them. And so this is where I think working with these individuals, educating them about the changes and the opportunities to move into the managed IT space will create an excellent referral partner for your business. So with that, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Q&A. I'll stick around for a few minutes if anybody has any questions. Feel free to use the chat box inside of the webinar portion, and we'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you. So Michelle was asking what type of recruiters we should focus on. That's a great question. So there are lots of different recruiters that specialize. Most of them do specialize in something. So obviously, any recruiters that are working within that IT space would be golden. There are some that work for smaller firms that are a catch-all for all types of employers, and those would work well as well. But definitely focus on those that are focusing on IT type of recruiting responsibilities. All right, I don't see any other questions coming through right now. So if you do have any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email. And again, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Appreciate everyone joining us and hope everyone has a great weekend. Take care, everyone. Thanks. Bye-bye.